know how they wanted to play earlier. They were just like, well, we'll just hope that Scout can carry eventually. Maybe Gala can carry eventually. It hasn't been like that for the second half of the split. They've been more proactive. They played more towards their combinations. They found some good value out of it, but can they end things off with another step in the right direction on that journey?
Blue side has been king. RA back on that side for game number 3. LNG on red side. They'll ban away 3 ADCs here. The Kalista, Draven, and the Senna. On the other side, it was the Varus, Lucian, and the Talia, as well as the first lock-in of the Tristana for RA.
And Vikla had such a good game on this in game number 1. Also in their victory versus Funflux Phoenix as well. On the other side, the Hook champion taken away from Xiaoxi. He has always been a Hook champion connoisseur, regardless of which team and region he's been playing in. So the Nautilus away from him. That's a good comfort pick taken away. Nio, though, seeing 2 very low-range champions on the side that might get stuck into things, says, right, lock me in a front line. We're going to burn them down, and it is a very similar trap. You're right indeed, Mizel.
Literally the same picks, I guess, with the Cassante a little earlier here for RA. But the Ari is the lock-in for Scout, so maybe a bit of a redemption for him on that one here. But the Nautilus was stolen away from Xiaoxi, and his Rakan banned in the second phase.
So, Xiaoxi, been one of those unsung heroes, I think, in this series to a certain extent, because it's been so explosive from the rest of the map. Xiaoxi really put a shout in for himself for MVP just from a couple of those late-game hooks, though. Catching out some important folks about the place. But Scout really importantly in game number 1 as well. So now we get ourselves some jungle bans coming through. Of course, you got them prime combination of that Vi away from Scout. Do you take away the volley bear from Weiwei if you think he's going to play it and contest? I do not think we're going to see a Bel'Veth coming out of LNG in this game. It really didn't have the best value out of it, and therefore it is going to be that volley bear taken away in terms of early playmaking potential.
Please do it. I want to see the comeback. The Jinx is locked in. All right, so we're getting a little bit of that sauce from game number 1. We'll see what RA want to do. LNG still obviously have the counter pick for jungle. Obviously, you already know though that the brand is going to be there for RA. We'll see what the lock-in is here for them themselves.
Of course, in game number 1, it was Xiaoxi, which had that Nautilus. So you don't have that same ease of access in terms of engaging. And if you're looking at something like the Alistar, you can do a really good job of just standing in front of the Jinx, popping your ult and saying, yes, you're a late game carry. It doesn't matter for 5 seconds. And you can make the most of that. In those 5 seconds, where Cassante's pressing W, Alistar's ulting, maybe the Tristana on the ground can get enough damage onto the low-range champions of LNG to win this team fight out before resets come through from Ahri and Jinx.
Has to be the Kai'Sa, right? I feel like we've seen such prevalence of this pick rising, and it is going to be the lock-in for RA. So a lot of poke, a lot of damage for RA. And last time we saw this comp from them, it was about Nio striking at perfect timing into LNG. Now the Lee Sin for Weiwei is going to have a little bit of fight back towards that.
Now, if you do choose to go towards these early fights in this game as opposed to game 1, now the Bel'Veth failed to clean up a couple of big plays. Lee Sin is much more mobile in the early game and has a lot more damage than the Bel'Veth does in the very early levels. Of course, Bel'Veth becomes a real monster in late game. Even grew throughout last year. It's just whether they can keep that on track. One last game. Give us a benchmark for next split.
Crickets. or no mics. One of the two. Oh, am I going to get my wish? Everybody flash.
Well, it is Nautilus and
wait, but Xiaoxi doesn't have a flash.
Okay.
Now LNG are coming. 5 flashes, I told you.
They spotted that ward early on and like, okay, maybe let's not throw ourselves into it. But I mean, you have Alistar and you have Nautilus. They are very good level 1 champions. I wouldn't blame them for going for level 1 plays, but still, not quite feeling that bold. We, despite the fact that the game has lower value to these teams now than the previous 2 in the series, we are still staying the course in regards to gameplay for now.
See who takes up that tempo here, though. A lot of vision actually being played around. Oh, Vikla gets the 1 CS. And Zika got his on the top side. Oh, my goodness. We did get the opposite side starts for both junglers, though. And I'm really particularly looking towards Weiwei's path and see if he does anything finicky.
Yeah, particularly because if Weiwei gets good information on Nio and can respond to the first players by this brand, this game will go very differently to game 1 when Nio managed to get into his top lane and shut down Zuka on the Renekton, where she was such a monster on game number 2. you do, once again, have Jinx who can get wave control very early on. You also have yourself the Renekton who we expect to be pushing in topside as well. That was something that they couldn't capitalize on particularly well in game 1. See if they can do it here to end off the series.
As we take a look at the level 2 fight here down the bot side, Chelsea in his second split, or I guess the second game of the split, second series rather, has actually felt like a pretty big influence on the series as a whole.
Yeah, I think particularly on the Nautilus, he looks so comfortable on that champion, and you worked really well in the team fights to make things work. But yeah, you haven't really felt, you know, you haven't felt the kind of the gap left by Zora, who of course is another player who came in from LDL. I feel like Zora really struggled when he was away from stuff like the Nami, which I really did like from him, his Nami and his Renata. He kind of understood how to use space in terms of buying space with those ultimates in those team fights. But whereas when it comes to actually just starting those fights and landing the skill shots, I think Xiaoxi has been the better player of the two, so maybe that's something that RA can keep in mind when it comes into Summer as they assess their options.
Zika gonna have a pretty big crash in the top side of him. Gonna play for a little bit of vision there. Very much just full clear, head down for both junglers. And I think that honestly leads to the at least happiness of Nayo, who will be able to get the Scuttle Crab as well on this top side.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be happy with that one, at least in terms of just getting his farm. He can go down and put down another ward into the enemy jungle, potentially wrap around topside. This is the thing, that ward will spot out when you're taking Scuttle, but it won't spot this. Zucker, he fell to the first gank of the game the last time around. This can't be allowed to happen again. Surely it can't happen again.
You know, the one thing that gets the Crocodile every time, it's going to be some missed skill shots that mean he doesn't go down at all. It's fine.
Yeah, everything's okay here. It's just a, you know, weapons malfunction or something.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, Nayo, sadly for him, could have had real kill threat there onto Zucker, but still, flash away. It's good enough. Wei takes the bottom Scuttle Crab. You can move back up onto the top side of the map. It's already a better start than game 1. Now Wei, he needs to really start keeping up some jungle vision uptime onto Nayo. If this Brand just continues to get in towards lanes, get stuff for free, and then also take away a load of farm, he will be the more useful champion. Wei, he's contesting on these Raptors.
They're utilizing Vicla's advantage here in mid lane, his level lead too. We do see the trade go down. Actually, I do believe Wei was able to secure some of that here, but objectives are coming up in about 30 seconds here, and that could be important for RA to look towards topside and try to take these telegrubbies.
Xiaoxu spots up Wei there. He'll not get the perfect wave crash, which is a bit annoying for him. I don't think he'll be able to crash this wave fully. He'll have to recall back in with a full health bar and mana bar. Get himself a bit of a reset on that laning state. Wei, going back towards the scrubs. Often what you'll see on the Lee Sin is not actually a full clear of all the grubs, just because Lee Sin's not quick at taking all 3. But he does kill the first one very quickly. So you'll see him hop over the back of the pit, take one for the XP and the denial of, you know, Brand just kind of blasting through all of them, and then kind of hop his way out. We'll see whether he stays for all of them. I think he'd just prefer to be more active on the map right now. See if he does ward hop out after this point, whether he sticks around for all of them.
And I'm surprised to see Nayo, he had obviously a big clear going from bot to top, but not able to put any pressure up there where RA had. Oh, big catch out here as they will take down Xiaoxi. Oh, the anchor's going to be enough for first blood for LNG.
The Ignite goes down and a greedy recall punished. Ward in the brush spots him out, and that cow will be served out as a mighty steak for Hung to get that first blood. Nayo is going to go onto the enemy jungle. Again, we did say jungle uptime vision, really important against this Brand. You can see that he's not taking his own camps right now, but with the amount of damage he has just in terms of his base kit, clear out some of this. Weiwei's going to miss his Q over the wall and immediately know that these are gone. He doesn't have vision there. Sees that there. He won't have the Q to gap close now either. Nice cooldown's coming up. There was a chance that Hung could go up.
Level 6 advantage. Dominance pop by Zika. He does have a little bit of a move to go on the turret here if he wants to. W crash, not going to be there, and he does get the pressure on Xiaoxu at least.
Needs to be careful here now, though. Rage Bar's still ticking up. That's the great thing about the Dominus, gives you so much rage, and Power W could end up going through to a kill. He's one more being for 6, and he might just be safe. Yeah,
he just got 6. See, RA, we're making a play bot side, though. They collapse 4 onto LNG. Gala gonna get some decent damage on Xiaoxi, can't get out.
Flash.
And here comes Scout as well. Nice little knockback, but Xiaoxi will be carved up yet again for another dinner for LNG. Now Scout looking for it, has Charm available, will end up hitting Vicla here. We're gonna flash out of the anchor, really big buster shot from Vicla, and he makes it out alive.
The interesting thing to me there is that they gifted the kill to Weiwei instead of over to Gali. You can see that Gali could have just autoed down Xiaoxi, but they give it over to Lee Sin. Maybe just saying, look, we need Weiwei to be able to brutalize the early game and stand toe-to-toe with the brand instead of relying on Gala just having late-game damage on the Jinx. Let's have someone which can kind of baton pass over to our carries late game. It's not something which I'd often see. Pretty much always give gold over to the AD carry. So let's see if Weiwei can now make use of that gold which he's been gifted by his team.
Gala made diamonds out of nothing in that first game on the Jinx, so hey, I don't know. Maybe we'll see if give him a piece of coal and he can turn that into something when under the pressure. Now, we did see a look back at that play. Xiaoxi just unable to get away.
No flash, can't get over the chompers. That doorway has been shut. Gala gets up the lethal tempo as well. And yeah, it doesn't end up taking that kill for himself. I wonder if that was determined. I really feel he just give the gold to the Jinx there, but still, wait. Will now have to make use of that gold, make sure that he can be still a continuation of this early game threat from LNG. Top lane already going so much better from Zucker, given that the early game ganks did not come his way this time. And Nio, I really think he's had a good series, even in this game as well. Yeah. He's had good early game pressure. He just can't quite flip the lanes to the level he has done in earlier games in this series.
We are getting to that level 6 mark here, and I want to put some more focus on at least the combinations that we can see here. The Scout Weiwei combination on map is going to be very, very deadly. I'm looking for Nio to try to get pressure elsewhere, try to utilize Vikla in some ways. And we see a lot of pressure now being focused up towards top side. Particularly
because the Renekton is already ahead of this matchup, and so the Phage has been changed away from the regen item where it gives you healing over time when you hit an enemy champion to the move speed back to how it was in the rest of the history of the league. Renekton, he auto attacks he wants, he can just threaten to just keep in range for the next Q. It's really dangerous taking extended trades versus particularly the post-level 6 Renekton with the empowered abilities and the Conqueror being stacked up. You can see that's led to a really significant CS lead now for Zucker on that top side. LNG, they are ready to make plays now. They have their ultimates. You don't even need their first item if they don't need it. This is a very early game team in regards of how early they can fight, and they can scale well into the mid game. They have themselves that lead as well. On the other side, you really want a lead on the Tristana so they can kind of bully out some of those laning phases and play a bit closer to the edge in the way that Victor's done very well recently. And even someone like the Kai'Sa would love to be jumping in and kind of stat checking some champions. They don't have that gold just yet. So RA, I don't think they can look to be as decisive as they were in earlier games.
We do have the episode 2 of Telegrubbies coming up, and Weiwei is going to face check the bush there. Charm connects, Sonic Wave connects, Kick connects, everything connecting. Mega Death Rocket goes a little bit wide there, though. Maybe Cass cursed it. Scout going in. Scout pulling back. He's going to go down to Nio. Burns him alive.
It is once again playing on the knife's edge, and Scout is the one that is cut by it. Plunges into the heart of the mid lane. As he can't quite get that final auto, the Buster Shot cancels it out. It's going to be Vikla walking away with his life, and Nio walking away with the kill. LNG, we said they were ready to fight. This is the point of the game. They have the levels to do so. They will still get themselves the grubs, 6 grubs likely, but RA get themselves the kill.
RA a little bit on the back end of a play. Will lose out on the full 6 Grubageddon, if you will. And that's a little bit rough for LNG, or at least for RA. Into LNG, because again, you talked a little bit about their strengths now they can utilize that to help push down some of these towers.
Nio's slept in unseen here. I wonder whether actually Zucker has enough information to tell that. I think he, with some red pings on the top lane, you have to wonder. Gala now staying alone in the bot side, in the mid lane rather. 6 grubs. Jinx already a powerful tower pusher. Gets himself a plate for free. Nice stuff for him.
So I was recently introduced to Grubageddon from a fellow caster of mine, and now I have trouble transitioning Telegrubbies into Grubageddon because it doesn't feel like, the things that go together.
Before the season started, I wrote down like 80 different things. I liked the Grub, Bad, and the Ugly. This one I stuck with for a little while. Of course, I had Ed and Eddie and the Kevin's favorites of mine. This is not one of my favorite plays. This one does not spark joy as a Scout. Sadly, can't get that final auto in to get that kill. Scout has been, in his own way, playing on the edge in regards to Ahri, and I'm going to say I prefer this style of play in a lot of ways from professional Ahris than I do from the more passive, we'll just survive laning phase and get value later kind of style of play. I prefer the boldness, but the accuracy needs work here from Scout. He hasn't landed a lot of the flash charms, he hasn't landed a lot of those critical killer instinct moves, which, you can call it limit testing. You can't afford to lose these plays and fall behind the snowball of the game as an inherently snowball champion.
See if he can pick it up at all as we go. Yeah, the RA just hasn't been the biggest pickup so far in this series for LNG. Still a lot of time to turn it around. We do have a dragon coming up in sub 30 seconds.
Nios unseen towards bot side right now, walking towards Weiwei. Q lands on him, the stuns miss.
He's
Weiwei.
in a lot of trouble though. The hook comes through, the kick is there, and he's down. Gala's real excited. He's got a grin on his face, and now he's moving in. Scout's gonna hit the charm, and that's fried up beef for you. LNG go out in the lead.
Oh, Xiaoxi falls again. Hung does go down in return for it. It's a 2 for 1 in favor of LNG. I think we can really see, though, that Xiaoxi away from the Nautilus has felt a lot more mortal. He looked a lot more stable on the Nautilus. It was a great pickup for RA in the previous games. This time, though, LNG walk away with it. Extra gold over to the carries of LNG. Weiwei really, really strong with that Sundered Sky at this point as well. LNG more than willing to fight. They get themselves 2 dragons. It's an important moment for them, and feels like with the early golden objectives going the way of LNG, it is going to have to be a wait and stall game for a little bit from Rare Acid before Tristana and Kai'Sa can start coming online. This starts with Naya walking in to Weiwei, gets spotted out, but misses the Q. If you ever miss the Q against Lee Sin, he has full free reign to just wail on you. He's not going to get stunned up, and see that Weiwei's damage with the Sundered Sky. Massive, massive impact in this fight.
Really just picking apart the fight for LNG, and they know their win condition in that moment, right? It is Gala, and that wasn't even with an item spike here, and they were able to utilize a lot of their strengths, right? And now we move on to the Rift, where this composition that's very heavy-handed when they have a lead does have that lead and can start pressing it around the map.
Gala already at the point where he is almost popping out his cold. The Shiv on assuming the pickaxe means that he will get himself up towards that Q upgrades. I'm trying to remember if it's now with the Doran's Blade or whether it's actually just in another on the completion of the Nashes. Look, Kai'Sa's builds have changed so much now that I've lost all of the calculations on it again. It gets really weird. I remember that Gala himself was going towards the Terminus because the BF sword component gives you the early Q upgrade. The thing about the Shiv is that you have so much of the like wave clear anyway, you don't necessarily even need to get Q early because you used to skip everything else in favor of that. But still, see him in a good point at this point to at least make sure that Gala can't crash waves for free. Need to see him get to 2-3 items though before he can really take over this game. It's going to be hard for him to become a main character on the Kai'Sa in the way that he has done in some games before.
That's the trouble with this composition, the double marksman comp that can't get ahead early, is you just have to wait. You have to get those 3 items. You have to have damage in your back pocket to be able to take these fights. And LNG giving them all that time is just going to make it harder and harder to find that fight back. They will take this Rift Herald, so they have full objective control, which has not been the case in this series at all.
No, it hasn't. They've had to turtle up and outweigh some of these objectives later into the game more often than not. See that Vikla with that Kraken Slayer and the Vamp Scepter doing some work against Scout. Vikla also taking the bone plating, so he's going to jump in a bit more aggressively. He's got Panthers on the bot side of the map and side of Nio, but here comes Hung as well. He has Flash, but he's forced to play. Yes, they can!
Out of Vikla, Death Charge with the charm, all that CC, baby, and Scout picks it up.
Vikla not able to buffer out of that one. Goes down easy as you like. Xiaoxi now kept in River. He has Flash. He's probably going to be forced to blow that one as well. Weiwei's going to keep up the chase, but not for much longer. So keeps hold of his Flash after all. His teammates able to bail him out of that one. But still, Vikla dying in the side lane. 4 Dark Seal stacks now over to Scout as he picks up that kill on the bot side. He's going to start snowballing nicely. Let's see if he's playing towards the knife's edge as he has been in the rest of this series, whether that will be the difference maker.
I just learned today that when you see a mad cow running at you, you just kick it in the face. Apparently it works.
No!
No,
that's not
no?
what
Is that not what we just learned?
Cows
I
are
thought that's
really big!
I know they are. But if, you know, when you're Lee Sin, you roundhouse kick it to the face, maybe it doesn't matter.
So when you're, there's a program in like UK schools where you can kind of go and do like countryside walks and stuff like that, so you can kind of get some like, not wilderness survival skills, but you know what it's like, just so you can kind of handle yourself when you're walking across like fields and stuff like that. The #1 threat when you're doing that is cows. Cows, if they ever decide they don't like you, they're largely very cool and they're kind of intriguing. They're kind of like curious about you as well. But just don't mess with cows. They're really heavy, and they will run at you.
I don't know if you know this, but on top of being a zookeeper, I'm also from Texas, and I spent most of my high school working on a farm with cows. They're cute. They're cuddly. I don't want you to give some vicious nomenclature to cows.
Cows are great. They are also, just don't mess with them. Don't tempt fate. Like this one. They're tempting fate here.
All right, maybe they did, but hey, they look like they want more. as that Sonic Wave's going to hit. It is going to be the Unbreakable Pop, the Rift Herald charge at mid lane with all 6 Grubbies as Grubbageddon is upon RA.
The Zerg Rush comes in towards the mid lane in a turret. Herald now uses a getaway vehicle to go down towards the bot side of the map. They could be starting to fight off.
I believe.
He's leaving the play. Where are you going, Hung?
No, he's driving it into the turret. Let's go! He did it! Hung, you get the driver's license anybody ever asks. You can have it, man. You're driving me anywhere.
Oh, that's fantastic. The thing is, I thought he was gonna miss the play in the bot side jungle while Scout had just pulled his ult, and in fact, Scout goes forwards again. Still,
he gets caught there.
As everything kind of goes behind, he does end up getting. You know what?
Wait.
Oh. This is out of that. Okay, alright, so grand total of that. 2 towers for the side of LNG. They don't find themselves in the kill on the enemy jungle, but they have chunked down the enemy jungler before the dragon spawns. So, Hung, I'll take it back. I thought he was going to just bail on the play on bot side, and now Vikler is left alone here too. He's probably going to die. Dangerous moment for him.
That's really unfortunate, and that'll be multiple catch-outs now of him. He does get brought down. They're trying to give it over, and Weiwei is the one that grabs it. Now RA with the counterplay on the other side. That's going to be the TP coming in, though. Maybe they could get the play here. Shall see. He's down. Scout can clean this one up. Assume is gone. That's going to be a double, and now Scout with all those spear rushes. He can move forward, but he doesn't know where Nio is.
Doesn't want to go just blindly into melee range of Xiaoshu. He only has a little bit of duration on the Spirit Rush left, and it's actually just one up. He could be in a bit of danger here. Turret shot lands. Q3 does too, though.
Scout, don't get killed by the solo here. He gets the solo. Nio here flashes out of the charm. Scout trying to make a major play here for LNG. As they do end up finding him anyways. Nio gets a big old amount of gold. That's a huge shutdown.
It's a shutdown, but Scout takes a toll before he falls. Manages to get an extra kill out of that. The return of the Q, really well played from Scout. And gets himself a full Zhonya's on the back. Early 2 items. Strong point of power. He bails out Zucker in that top side. So LNG, they do give up that shutdown, but overall, massive win for them. Soul point very, very early into the game. Alongside again, some of that nucleated gold onto Scout. You see that Vikler's actually having to teleport top side to clear that wave there too. RA are just behind the play in this game. LNG are the ones who are catching up. Vikler in a side lane, who's not really managed to have the Tristana 4 performance that we expect out of a first pick Tristana, as it was earlier in the series as well. LNG have shut down Vikler much better than other opponents have.
It's been a really nice combo of Scout and Weiwei playing extremely aggressive between these two and finding a lot of those picks. Now we have second items for both Scout and Gala, so a lot of damage going to be in the back tank of LNG.
We slow ourselves down as there's Baron spawning in 30 seconds, but it's not likely to have that on spawn. Of course, Baron, one of the big changes to the map is we saw this a lot in LPL last year. It was just like the snap 20-minute Baron. Even if you were very far behind in the game, teams kind of knew that you could just rush towards that objective and make a Hail Mary of things. The objective will be up, but LNG will need a significant amount more setup to get towards that a little later on. 3 minutes until what could be Judgment Day for Rare Atom. How much gold are they going to have in pockets for that soul fight, though? That is the question. What's going to happen here? Provia of Scout on the Ahri. Comes in time. Chooses the right target, gets himself a first reset, even though they potentially could have gone towards the Kai'Sa first. Just getting that reset is so important. You can't really go into a melee range of a K'Sante with all out. Very, very dangerous. You can see just on the ultimate indicator there, his ult's just running out. Uses the last charge of it there to get some value from the Malignants. But then he doesn't have any more mobility, despite the fact that the resets had come through. But really, really well played to stop Xiaoshu from getting away from that Q3 return, rather. Q2.
We didn't even get to watch the rest of that one as he did end up falling down to Nio because we're right back in it. And we're right back with a contest over the Baron pit here.
Mainly about vision. Got that Scuttle Crab taken in the top side as well. Zucker trying to play towards this top side. He's handled much stronger game on this Renekton than he did in game 1. Probably not matching his game 2 though, which was so destructive. And Rare Atom, they still have a lot of damage to deal to that front line. You've got 2 items for Nio on the brand. That's another thing to watch out for them. While all this is happening though, because Zucker is stronger, means that Gala has more space to act. Much harder to reach Gala in the back line. If you ping him with a good combo from Xiaoxi when he doesn't have flash and you get that W onto the Kai'Sa, maybe some magic can happen, but still, feels like Gala potentially could have himself some more montage moments coming in this series.
He's been very handy on the Jinx, and we end up seeing a lot of big moments going his way here. I think Assume in a much similar position now after that last game, and being, or at least the first game rather. And some moments in that last game as well. But as we get to it, it is a calming on the rift, but it is a minute and 20 seconds until that calm turns into a roaring flame as an infernal dragon soul for LNG. That might just be the nail in the coffin. Nice flashes.
Supports trading their aggressive tools there. It's like was in range to respond, but with Kai'Sa there too, could have been a very dead Nautilus. Have an important junction in this game. When a support dies, it means they're not there to clear vision and put more vision down. One of the most probably undervalued things in professional League of Legends when you're just watching it from the outside. The support being dead, sometimes you think, oh, but they're not the ones doing the damage. They can be very, very important for setting up the map. Now, the timer ticking ever lower. 40 seconds now. What's the vision like on the bottom side of the map? Basically non-existent. LNG, R8, they're playing around the Baron instead and just saying, well, no one's going to have a control around bot side. We're going to teleport in from Ari towards this Baron. You see Weiwei hanging off the vision. R8, they don't have vision on this. They might need to face check.
Oh man, that's such a dicey situation there. Sorry, don't have a way of getting up there. They have to push out mid lane as well with Vikla. LNG looking for it. Nayo gonna spot everybody out. Ooh, Lollipop not going
no
his
flash.
way. And now he's gonna go wide with there. He goes down as well. Nice little resets here though for Gala, who's getting a little excited as maybe trying to get that reset for him is the biggest portion for LNG. Now, oh, Zika, he's in there. And there's that excited Gala. Scout's going forward, point blank. That's 2 kills. Oh, we're gonna find him a third. And that's huge as LNG wipe RA and go straight for the Baron.
Gala stacks up, get excited, and gets ripping through Rare Atom. Baron's going to go down soon after. And LNG, after a hard fought game number 2, claw their way to a game 3 and explode into life. They've had to explode a little more slowly. It wasn't really explosion in this split. They've built, they've climbed, they've grown from a very difficult start through some roster changes, through coaching changes. In this team fight here, they managed to have just so much gold, and Zucker is so strong at playing in the front line that Gala can have a clean team fight. One overstep, flash forward, the extra resets come through. No way to reset after that mistake's made.
Oh my god. Gala was there to be the recipient of the stacks there and try to get the resets, but man, Scout was so massive there, and he didn't even have his Rabadons, which he'll be on the cusp of soon. It was 6,600 damage from Gala in the end, and now it's LNG with their Infernal Soul gifted over to them.
It's exactly what we were saying. RA, they have much less tools to get onto the not the Kai'Sa, the Jinx on the other side. Besides maybe the Kai'Sa being really strong in the late game, it's just not easy for them to shut down Gala compared to it was in their game 1 victory against them. Even then, Gala had a good shout at it, so in a better game stands to reason he's going to do even more damage. Hits that W, the Infernal Soul on those W is so dangerous. There's an ult from Xiaoxi, no flash, he's going down.
He is completely gone, and now Gala just gets to take that excited nature straight into the turrets and snowball that into a potential victory here.
So LNG gonna walk forwards. Baron buff still here, taking down the inhib. We'll just refresh that get excited once again. There it is. He has the increased attack speed.
Dude.
These towers are not long for this rift.
This is insane. As the rush from the 6 grubs helping them out a little bit, they will be rebuffed. Try to move down to the bot side. The Nexus turret's about half health there. They now just pounce straight onto Vikla. And RA, you gotta start singing your 07s and going down with the ship because LNG have roared to life in this series. They'll do a mini reverse sweep and they'll take down Xiaoxi for a little bit of beef to add on top of it. 1 more kill, 2 more kills. Gala's gonna find 3. LNG have found everybody, and they'll end the season in regular split at 9-7. And they are a tough opponent to be going up against in the second round of the playoffs.